Not a lot of turns in Florida. They're mainly tried to make a green light, power out with his all-wheel drive and the turbo. Love the sound of it. Mazda makes a great turbo 4-cylinder, 2.5 liter Skyactiv-G turbo, 227 horse with 310 pound-feet of torque. But if you put premium fuel in this guy, 93 octane will get you 250 horsepower and 320 pound-feet of torque. You know, around town you don't really notice it much, but passing you do. If you need to, you know, switch lanes, with obviously I can't really do right now, but no one's really in front of me, so pedal down. And I'm not even, like, it's just half pedal and this thing just digs. It downshifts one gear from the 6-speed auto and it's off to the races. 0 to 60 in this thing is around 6 seconds. So it's not going to be the world's fastest car, but it's fast enough, and it's probably faster than most other vehicles out there. So if you want the turbo on the CX-30, you can get into it around 32, 33K. This one with all the goodies on it is over 35K. And when you're getting over 35K in a small vehicle like this, you could just go for the turbo CX-5, the bigger vehicle, and get a little bit nicer experience, better suspension. This has a torsion beam. The CX-5 has a multi-link rear, so it's just a bigger, better vehicle overall than the CX-30, but this might be a tad more fun to drive. It feels like a Mazda 3 turbo hatchback kind of on stilts, and that's a good thing because that car is really, really fun to drive. It doesn't look as good as the Mazda 3 hatchback. However, on the exterior, this thing would look drop dead sexy if they didn't have so much black cladding around it. That's what I've always thought since the CX-30 has come out, and that observation hasn't changed at all. Great curves, great lines, great headlight, grille, and tail light designs overall. I love the dual exhaust, but unfortunately, just no relief from the immense amounts of black plastic around the wheels and the bottom of the vehicle. On the inside of the vehicle, it's typical Mazda fare. High quality materials, everything's like soft touch. The steering wheel feels great. It's a little on the skinny end, but it, you know, feels great in my hands. We don't have too much reflective materials in here like the CX-9 in the Mazda lineup. Now, I mentioned not a lot of glossy reflective materials up here. We do have some around the shifter, kind of a glossy black with a herringbone or so a little chevron sort of interior inside that glossy black. It's not distracting though. It does hold true to having the world's softest armrest of any manufacturer, so Mazda takes the crown there. I love the traditional shifter here. Rotary dial and volume knob. The volume knob's in a great place next to my arm where it rests. Rotary dial's in a good place too. Unfortunately, we still don't have a touchscreen in the Mazda CX-30 here. And yes, it takes some while to get used to. I actually haven't played with it a whole lot. I know what I'm getting myself into at this point. But you do have the ability for Apple CarPlay and Android Auto if you want to plug it in. This, of course, has the Bose sound system in here. Sounds pretty solid. Mazda and Bose's relationship seems to be pretty good because I've been in other vehicles with the Bose sound system. They're hit or miss, and they're typically dialed in on the Mazda vehicles. No, we don't have a subwoofer inside the spare tire in this vehicle like the CX-9, for example, but yeah, at least we have a spare tire. Cargo capacity is not going to wow anyone for the segment. It's probably on the lower end of the segment if you're comparing just cargo capacity. And rear legroom is minuscule. I would compare it to maybe the Nissan Kicks and maybe definitely the Hyundai Kona. That is a really small back seat and small legroom as well. No hookups back there, no USBs or anything like that. Luckily, we do have vents pushing air to the back seats for the rear passengers and a couple cup holders as well back there. Cruising around here 45 to 50 miles an hour. It's nice and quiet. The head-up display is really, really good. It lets me know if someone's in my blind spot. And yes, brakes are good in this vehicle too, as I had to slow down there as people like to turn right on this, get into the neighborhood here. I'll get a chance to get into the brakes hard. 3, 2, 1, and progression. A little soft initially, but then it keeps digging. It keeps digging and digging, and the pedal goes down. It's pretty firm eventually. Good feedback once you get past that initial little spongy zone. So who is a Mazda CX-30 for? Well, if you prefer good looks and design, to be most important, and you also need a small vehicle, just depending on where you live or just your needs. Maybe you have a dog or one kid, you can fold down the seats. You're gonna have to take off the headrest out of the back row though, because they will run into the back of the front seats. But they do fold down, and you do have a good amount of cargo space if you want to fold those seats down. You could probably fit a bike back there if you wanted to as well. But like I said, Mazda CX-30 is there for people who want to have a small vehicle and look good and have a crossover and functionality with the seats folding down. But you might be saying, Kirk, why don't I just get a Mazda 3 hatchback? Well, that would be my pick of the two, to be honest. But some people just want to be a little bit higher off the ground, have a little bit of better visibility as well. And I think this is a good option for those who don't want to sit as low as a sedan or a hatchback. Now the CX-30 Turbo, is it really necessary as I get into the gas? The answer is no. I think you could save your money. 186 horsepower on the base CX-30, you can still get all-wheel drive on it. I think that's the good value play here. The turbo, it doesn't feel as necessary in this vehicle as it does, let's say, in the CX-9 where it's standard, or the CX-5 where, you know, it's a bigger, heavier vehicle. You can really benefit from having that extra torque and power. And it's not nearly as fun to throw around as the Mazda 3 sedan or hatchback with the turbo. So the turbo on this model just doesn't have the same desire or the desirability as it does in the rest of the Mazda lineup. It's still a great engine, and you're not going to regret getting it. But if performance isn't the number one thing on your mind, you just want a great looking small crossover, I think getting the naturally aspirated 2.5 liters is going to be more than adequate for you. Fuel economy is about the same on both of them. You'll probably be getting around mid-20s combined on whether you get the turbo or non-turbo. But I'm going to end it there. What do you guys think of the Mazda CX-30? I've done other reviews. This one was pretty concise. I didn't have a lot of time traveling a lot, buying a new car for myself because having car issues. So it's been a wild week, and I'm happy I finally got to drive this cute little Mazda CX-30. Let me know if you have questions about it, because I know I didn't get a chance to discuss too much or give you too many opinions about it. But I'll see you guys down below. Have a great day. Thank you so much for watching. Hit the like button if you haven't. Subscribe for more Mazda news and reviews. Catch you in the next one. Thank you for your support. Peace out.